The Harry Potter series has hired an actor to play an older Ron Weasley. Madame Malkin confirmed. Actor confirmed as the manager of a hotel. Casting for the second season of the Harry Potter series has also begun. Hey there, wizards. How's it going? Man, today, wow. Friday is packed with information about the Harry Potter series. If you've been missing news and updates about the HBO Harry Potter series, brace yourself, because there's a flood of them coming, one after another. Well, it's very important to point out that this news hasn't been released officially. So let's treat it as a rumor, but keep in mind that considering the people who are revealing this, it's very likely that it's real because these are insiders who have already provided accurate information. In fact, they've been 100% correct up to this point. The first piece of news making the rounds today came from the insider Horcrux in the Pocket on Reddit. And according to the information, pre-production for the second season of the series, which will adapt the book Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, is already underway. We know that the script was already being written because that was an official confirmation that the script for the second season was already being written by Francesca Garner. So now we have word that casting for the second season cast has already begun. These characters would be Tom Marvolo Riddle, who is the young Voldemort, Gilderoy Lockhart, who is the handsome Defense Against the Dark Arts professor, right, who teaches in the second year, Moaning Myrtle, who is the ghost in the bathroom, right, and is an important part of the plot in the Chamber of Secrets. Arthur Weasley, because Arthur hasn't been confirmed yet. The actor hasn't been confirmed yet. We even suspected that he might show up in the first season, considering that Lucius Malfoy and Fudge, who only appear in the second, are already going to appear in the first. So there was this suspicion that Arthur could also appear. He hasn't been confirmed so far in the first season, so we don't know if he's going to be shown, which I don't think is going to happen because the Burrow itself, we only see Arthur when the Burrow appears, right? In the second book. And Harry is there at Ron's house, so I think the Burrow, they'll keep it only in the second book. Because given the timing of things, from Harry's perspective, we get that sense of being amazed by the Burrow along with Harry. And I think showing it earlier might end up spoiling that feeling a bit. So they'll probably show it only in the second season. So Arthur would come in during the second season, instead of those other characters who will show up in the first, because their appearances are different. So then Arthur Weasley and also Colin Creevey, right? Colin is a pretty memorable character in the second book. The movie doesn't show even 1% of what Colin really is, of the presence that Colin has in the second book. And so, these would be the actors being selected for the second season. There aren't any names yet, right? Wow, there isn't any name in the rumors about who will get each role. But there's that wish, right? Some people, some fans, already have their favorite names to play certain characters. One of them is Owen Cooper, the recent Emmy winner who starred in Adolescence on Netflix, right? Everybody wants him. Well, not everybody, but you know, a lot of people want him as Tom Riddle in Chamber of Secrets. And I share that feeling. I think he would be a great Tom Riddle. I also think he would be a great Tom Riddle, but I'm not stuck on that. If it's someone else who's chosen, I won't have a problem with it, you know? Although I would like it to be him. And for Arthur Weasley, a lot of people are talking about Simon Pegg, right? He voiced Phineas Nigellus Black in the Hogwarts Legacy game, and he's doing the voice of Mr. Weasley in the Harry Potter audiobook, in the immersive audiobook. So, people would like him to join the series, and play Arthur Weasley. And for Gilderoy Lockhart, people are talking about Kit Harington, who played Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. He's also doing voice work in the audiobook. He voices, at least in the second one, right? He voices Gilderoy Lockhart. Well, not just voices, he plays Gilderoy Lockhart. Now, moving on to the confirmation of new people in the cast for the first season. The actress Naomi Wirthner has been confirmed, according to Redundant Intelligence, as Madame Malkin in the Harry Potter series. And man, this made me really happy and excited. Because Madame Malkin is the owner of the shop, Madame Malkin's, in Diagon Alley, which is the place where students buy their Hogwarts uniforms. But more than that, for those who have read the books, you'll remember that this is the place where Harry and Draco meet for the first time. Harry has that encounter with Draco there, and he already doesn't like him very much because of the way Draco is, how he acts, and how he talks to Hagrid, right? Saying that Hagrid was just a servant, a drunk, things like that. So right there, we already have this first contact and this first conflict between Harry and Draco. So, if she's confirmed, it's because we're going to have this scene, and I'm really excited about that. And Madame Malkin, she also appears in other books, right? Not just the first one. There's that amazing scene in Half-Blood Prince, where Draco and his mother Narcissa are there, and Draco hides, tries to get away from her when she goes to lift the sleeve of his left arm, so she won't see the dark mark. And then there's the argument between Harry and Narcissa there. They're exchanging barbs because of all the rivalry between them, since Lucius had been arrested. And Draco threatens Harry, threatens the trio there, right? He even tries to go after the trio.
And then Madame Malkin tells them to stop that, tries to stop them somehow anyway.
Madame Malkin is a character who, although she doesn't appear much, when she does, it's in really cool moments. So I'm really happy that the actress is confirmed, and I hope she appears in those specific moments, and if possible, show a little more of her, right? If it fits into the story, and if it's something that's relevant, I think it's cool. Now, another name that made me really happy and excited is Neil Edmond. This actor was confirmed, according to Rania Intelligence, to play the manager of a hotel, and that's kind of vague, right? The manager of a hotel. But who would this guy be? In the book, though, before they get to that shack on the rock, there's more to it. In the movie, once the letters start pouring in, they go straight to the rock in the middle of the sea, and that's it. But in the book, the Dursleys go through a whole journey first. They do several things. One of them is stopping at a hotel and staying at a hotel. In fact, this hotel is in Cockworth. That's the place where Spinner's End is, where Snape lives, and where Lily and Petunia themselves grew up. It's the neighborhood where they lived when they were little. So there's already a connection there with the story, right? Which we find out later. And this hotel is really kind of mediocre. Harry and Dudley share a room, while Vernon and Petunia stay in the other. And when they go to have breakfast, the manager comes in saying, "Hey, who's Harry Potter?" Because there are 100 letters here for him. So, probably, that's the role of this guy, Neil Edmond, he's the manager. And this scene will be in the series, which is really, really cool.
Because then we already have another scene that was completely cut from the movies, right?
From what we've seen so far from the series, we're going to have the scene of Walter going to work, which happens on the day the Potters are killed and Harry is left at their doorstep. We're going to have him running away from home, trying to dodge the letters. Him meeting the guy there, grabbing a rifle, hugging the guy, which has already leaked as an image. Him hugging the guy who rents them the little boat so they can go to the shack on the rock. So it's pretty complete. It's pretty complete.
Now with Madame Malkin, we can see that it's pretty complete. And with this hotel manager, who will probably be in that scene, it's going to be very, very complete.
And that's making me really happy, man. Because what I wanted most from this series is really to see the things that were left out of the movies. I'm really looking forward to the expansion, of course, to see things in more depth.
But I'm also really excited to see the things we couldn't say because of the limited screen time in the movies. You know, the movies had to cut some things out, and they ended up cutting things that unfortunately were missed. So, I'm really excited about that.
And last but not least, man, this news made me really, really, really happy and excited. We'll have an older actor to play Ron in the first season. Like, much older. The actor Lewis Shelton. How old is he? Let me check here. Hold on. It doesn't say his age here. The agency says he's an actor, that he's into drama. Yeah. He graduated in 2004-2005 British. What's his age? There's even a video of him acting here. Look, on YouTube. At the agency, on the agency's site. There's a video of him acting. I wanted to know his age. Man, I don't think I found his age. But anyway, he's older. He's much older than Alistair Stout, who's about 10 or 11 years old. And why was he chosen?
Look how amazing.
We're going to have the scene. We're going to have this actor as Ron's reflection in the scene where Ron sees himself in front of the mirror of Erised.
And in the book, he sees his reflection there as older, handsome, captain of the Gryffindor Quidditch team, holding up the Quidditch cup as head boy. Man, look how cool that is. Look at that awesome detail. Look at that incredible detail.
I always wanted to see that in the movie, but the movie doesn't show it. It only shows Rupert Grint there in front of the mirror, but it doesn't show the reflection. Man, that's really, really cool. That already makes me think that in the scene with Harry in front of the mirror of Erised, we're actually going to see his whole family.
And not just his parents, like in the movie, right? Because in the book, there are several members of Harry's family.
There are his parents, his grandparents. Man, there's a whole bunch of people who appear in the mirror. So, that already makes me think that if they're taking this kind of care with details, like Ron's reflection appearing older there, hiring an actor for that. Instead of using CGI or instead of using artificial intelligence, man, practical effects will always be superior on so many levels. On so many levels. That makes me really excited, really happy. So if they're going to put that guy there just to do Ron's reflection, man, just the reflection of an older Ron, imagine the level of detail they're putting into everything else. You know? Like, that gets me really excited, my friend. Really excited. When I saw it for the first time, when I read Older Ron in the first season, I said, my God, what happened? Then I went to read the article. Man, that really shocked me, the level of attention to detail, man. Seriously, this series is going to be insane. It's going to be a success. It's going to be, man, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy how insane this series is. And you know what's even funnier? Even more curious? It's that he looks a lot like Alistair, man. I thought it was, like, impressive. They got an older guy who really resembles the actor, you know? I even saw some people saying, man, imagine it could have been Rupert Grint, right? But Rupert Grint is already much older than a teenager there. Almost a young adult, right? Graduating there at Hogwarts.
In the last year at Hogwarts, which is about the age of the reflection.
And also, a concern that was raised. Well, but then, when they show him older, it's going to be different, right? Because it's going to be older Alistair. It's just that the mirror, you know, it doesn't show the future. It shows the reflection of how Ron wanted to see himself, right? Just because that's how he wanted to be, doesn't mean that's how he'll turn out.
Of course, he becomes a Quidditch player, but he doesn't become captain. He doesn't become head boy. He becomes a prefect.
So it's not the future, it's his wish. So for me, it's okay to be a little different there. The reflection a bit older, right? I don't think it's really a concern, you know? But tell me, I want to know what you thought about these new things. Madame Malkin, man. I'm really excited to see the Madame Malkin scene. Wow, I'm really excited. And, man, we're really close to starting the promotion for the Harry Potter series in March. Now in March, man. Now in March. Because HBO Max launches in the United Kingdom on the 26th, they're definitely planning something related to the series. And then, they're going to start releasing trailers, because filming for the first season wraps up now in May and April.
And between July and September, they'll already start filming the second season. That's why they're already in the process of pre-selecting actors.
Man, I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to this. Wow, seriously. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next episode of The Leaky Cauldron. Until then, mischief managed.